This is my Porsche 911 GTS.
A couple of years ago. I actually bought it in 7 months ago.
Number one is one of the companies that is actually in my holding company is my fiance's company. Like an agency offer. And the third, just finished the VIP day, or at least the talking portion of the VIP day, the coaching portion. It's literally just me, them, 4 hours locked in a room, and we make unbelievable progress. And these guys were cool. And then I actually have a client coming in town today for a VIP day. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to one of my first vlogs. I've done a couple of vlogs before, but I haven't done one in a very long time because honestly, I don't really love vlogs, but I'm excited to walk you through this one. This is gonna be just a casual day of my life. It's, I think, 7:15, 7:30, something like that. I used to be a 5 a.m. guy, would wake up 4:45 every single morning for probably 3 years when I was first starting my business. But I'd say in the last year and a half, I've tried to become a little bit more in tune with my body, what's healthy for me long term. I try to do things today that's going to make future Ravi happy. My spirituality, I'm just optimizing a little bit more for happiness and daily peace versus absolute maximum productivity. And because of that, I don't have an alarm clock anymore. But I'd say that's usually from 9:30 till about 7, I'd say roughly is the time that I get up. And so now I'm going to start my little morning routine. So I'll see you guys there. As you can see, I have a decent beard. I literally just got it trimmed yesterday, but I used to only be able to grow this little middle area right here. And so I did a bunch of research online and I heard of minoxidil, which is actually the original ingredient in Rogaine. And I learned that you could put it really anywhere, but on beards, and it could grow in hair follicles where there wasn't hair follicles before. So I've been using this. This is from the guy, More Plates, More Dates. His name's Derek. I don't have any affiliate codes or anything like that because it's one of the least greasy ones. I've been using it for actually probably since February of this year. So it's June right now. I absolutely love it. It literally changed really how I saw myself. And I tell everybody about it that I can, because I know if you're a guy, a lot of guys can't grow facial hair, and it is one of the most quote unquote manly things, ruggedy things. And it's true. It's guys don't have purses and all these different accessories, stuff like that. So there's only a few things you can do to kind of stand out. And I think having a really well kept beard, I think other men recognize and appreciate it, and the ladies definitely love it. Okay, one other thing I want to show you I do every single morning is actually weigh myself. My buddy, close friend Cole Gordon, he actually showed me he does this to manage his weight. And what I'll do is I'll just look at the scale, look at the number. I know the number that I want to be at, and if I'm off it, I'll either eat less or eat more that day. So sometimes I'll just do a full 24-hour fast. I actually do that one time a week. Every single Sunday night to Monday night, I do a full 24-hour fast. But maybe I eat a heavy meal because I go out with some clients or something like that one night. Then what I'll do is I might not eat until dinner the next night as well, so I can kind of maintain my weight. Now, transparently, first of all, am wearing pants and a shirt, and I'm holding this gimbal, so this will maybe be 1 or 2 pounds over what it usually is. And also, I am unfortunately a little bit out of shape right now because I got my stem cell shoulder injections 3 different times. I've actually been in PT. I haven't been able to work out, and I've been in a lot of pain actually. Let's see where we're at here. 234.9. So you can actually kind of see if I can maybe focus this. This says 234.9. This is 236, 236, 236, 235. So I kind of track this over time to see what activities and foods I'm eating and stuff like that, and how does that affect my overall weight. So this is actually a photo from one of my clients of the lake that I just bought my house on. So it's called a coastal dune lake. So this is the lake right here. This is state park. This will never be developed. And then this is actually, that's how white the sand is there. This is the beaches, and that's the Gulf of Mexico. So this will actually open up into the Gulf of Mexico over here, and you can paddleboard and stuff out there. So this is in our living room in our Miami home. Another cool thing in our living room, so many of you might not know, but I actually have my pilot's license. I'm a private pilot, and I had a plane for a couple of years. I just sold it recently. But anyway, here's a aviation map of the United States, and it's a little dark here, but these are actually all the places that I've flown my plane to. So black is 2022, white is 2023, and red is 2021. So I actually originally bought it in San Diego. I actually have a vlog of this, and then we flew it across the entire United States to come back down to Miami, and we've obviously been all over the place. We used to do the Keys for dinner, but pretty awesome. All right, let me show you what is literally the main reason why we moved into this house, which is, first of all, there's my unbelievably beautiful fiance and my little puppy. But second of all, I get to walk from my front door, and within about 30 steps, I bought this boat a couple of years ago. I actually bought it in 7 months ago. It's called Out of Office. It has 3 450s. It's the only Pardo 38 in Miami that has 3 450s, which means it absolutely rips. One of the most beautiful boats I've personally ever seen. I'm kind of hyping myself up here, but I literally love this boat. Another really cool thing
thing about it is that I am the captain. So a lot of people I know, a lot of my friends that have big yachts, let's say 80 foot, 100 foot, etc., etc. First of all, they have to charter it all the time. I literally never charter this, so I don't have anybody ruining it. And second of all, it's like a whole production for them to go out. So like they have to get their captain on board, they have to get the steward on board, they have to, you know, schedule the time, go in between the charters, blah, blah, blah. I did a bunch of research and I was like, okay, cool. I just want to do it myself. I want to be my own captain. And I was already a pilot. I love like driving and flying things. And so I ended up getting my getting my boating license, got a captain so he could teach me how to do it. And he's also, I call him the CEO of my boat. So any problems, any maintenance, any cleaning, anything that goes on, he takes care of all of it. I literally just told him, even gas and diesel, like he just comes every 2 weeks and fills up with gas and diesel, takes it out there. I'll give you one last look at it here. I haven't really announced it on my social media too much, but it has been one of the best purchases of my entire life. And we got it because I used to have the plane. I just told you we sold the plane. My fiance and I absolutely love the plane. But the thing about the plane is that you can't really convince a lot of people to go on. And nobody really wanted to get into a plane with me, which I don't blame them. So we decided to get something where we could share it with other people, and we could celebrate with other people. And that was the boat. And so now I'm going to introduce the woman behind the man. This is my fiance, the most incredible woman I've ever met in my entire life. This is our little puppy. And every single morning we come out here and do a quick little walk around the island. So that's what we're going to do really quick. So fun fact about this neighborhood, this private island, when Lauren and I found it, we were like, man, this really reminds us of our hometown, actually, where we just bought that second house. And it's just so, I'll show you what this looks like here, but I mean, this is so peaceful. And we decided to move here because we absolutely loved it and it reminded us so much of our home. We usually sit right here on this little bench for a couple of minutes and get some of this Miami sun in. You can see the pools over there. Pretty peaceful area. Okay, so let's quickly talk about who I am, what I do, and why I'm making these vlogs in the first place, because some of you might not know. My name is Ravi. I started a company about 5 years ago now called Scaling with Systems. In short, we're a consultancy for typically online coaching, consulting, and information-based businesses. So we essentially build marketing, sales, operations, client success systems for our clients so that they're going to be able to scale. In the last couple of years, we worked with about 3,000 clients, some really notable names, and generated almost $30 million for our company. And in addition to the consultancy, in the past about 2 years, I launched a holding company where we actually acquire equity stake in other information coaching consulting businesses. And then instead of just getting paid a one-time fee, we actually will get a revenue or profit share of that company. Now, most people that play the portfolio like equity game, they're doing it in order to grow this company insanely big and exit it. Really transparently, I strongly believe that the info coaching consulting world, it's really difficult to exit those companies. And so instead of like trying to put lipstick on a pig and trying to force an exit, you know, in the last couple of years, I've made $30 million with mine, which has afforded the lifestyle that we've had. So instead of focusing on how can I make this business as exitable as possible, we pretty much try to prioritize how do we make as much cash flow from these businesses as possible. So I have Scaling with Systems, which has a team of, at this point right now, I think 28 people. And then I have my holding co, which is a very small, lean group of people where we go inside businesses and take equity inside of it. As far as why I'm making these vlogs, I think it's really for two reasons. The first is that I watch a lot of other people's, I love watching YouTube content, and I watch a lot of other people's YouTube content, and I've made actually at this point 600 YouTube videos, and all of them have been very chill, sit at the desk and talk. And I think I live a decently awesome life right now, and I really want to share it with other people. But I also want to share it in the sense of like when I watch these other entrepreneurs that do vlogs, every single one of them is the exact same thing. They do something, they buy a car or they go car shopping, they go out for drinks, they have dinner, and I don't know, they go to the gym, right? And so I'm not knocking any of those guys, but like I'm going to try to make these things as legitimate as possible of like, this is truly a day in my life without trying to hype it up. The other reason I do the vlogs is because when I first got in the online game, I was living in a house full of entrepreneurs, and we all agreed that we were going to be more producers than consumers. So that was the other reason I did it. And then I kind of wanted to talk about like the final reason, and this kind of goes into Naval Ravikant. If you don't know who he is, he's like one of the most OG, epic, philosophical investors of all time. And he talks about your dream life is essentially one where you can wake up every single morning and do anything that you want to do. And a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, they don't necessarily have that life. They have a business, they make a lot of money, but it's not necessarily doing what they want to do. They're still doing stuff every single day that they don't want to do. And that's actually why the mission of our company is help you build the business that serves you instead of you serving it. Because is since I've created that out of my life where I can essentially run my entire business from my phone, and then I have almost no meetings every single week. I just wake up every single morning and decide what I want to do. My life has been significantly happier, less stressful, and I'm still making a great amount of money. And so the final reason I did this vlog was because I just woke up this morning and I decided to. I have no agenda. There was no real reason behind it. I just told my fiance, like, hey, I think I'm going to film this today, and I essentially did. And so this vlog and this channel at this point is probably just going to be a little bit of my day in my life. I think we're going to take you when we go and move into our new home on the first day that we do that, and we'll do some vlogs up there as well. And today I have a little bit of free time, which I'm probably going to be working a little bit on some higher leverage activities. And then I actually have a client coming in town today for a VIP day. So one of the things that I'll do is I sell a VIP day for people. It's 4 hours of my time. They come down to Miami, Florida. We've done a few virtual, but I always like Miami, Florida. Come down to Miami, Florida, and we pretty much do an insane deep dive inside of their business. So we audit where they're currently at. We try to identify any bottlenecks, remove them. I'll help build things for them, whatever else. And then I have a little bit of physical therapy right after that. And then I'm going to meet back up with those clients, and we're actually going to have dinner later. And Laura and I were talking about maybe taking the boat out for a little bit of a boat ride later on today. So stay tuned for all of that. I guess a good question I get all the time is like, Ravi, what makes your consultancy different than everybody else? You know, there's all these coaches, coaching coaches, which I totally get. You know, at this point, we've worked with almost 3,000 businesses. We'll cross 3,000 businesses a year. So I've been doing this for 5.5 years. And I think one of the things that makes us different is a couple of years ago, I developed a methodology called the critical constraint method, where essentially what we are the best in the world at is identifying whatever is the biggest constraint inside of your business. So the thing that's holding you back, and removing it so that you're able to scale. And what I've noticed is a lot of businesses, the problems that they have is that they either don't know what the main constraint is in their business. And so they solve constraints in the wrong order. So their real constraint is their pricing, and they're focused on sales, or their real constraint is their fulfillment, and they're focused on marketing. And a lot of people will focus on the areas that they're best at, where it's the easiest to fix, not necessarily the thing that's actually holding them back. And that's how we have case studies of people 4xing their business within 90 days of working with us, because we focused on that one little thing that they had been overlooking. I developed the critical constraint method. I'm actually writing a book on it right now, so I'm super excited to share that with you guys. And with that being said, let's go to the next scene. Everybody, this is Caroline. Say hi, Caroline. I asked her permission first. Caroline is Lauren's assistant, and so I have an executive assistant that is in Louisiana, actually, and I've been with her, shout out Hannah, for a couple of years now. And we have a maid that comes to the house a couple times a week in order to help with cleaning and all that stuff, laundry, blah, blah, blah. And so what we realized, especially as Lauren's business is taking off, is that we needed somebody who could do a little bit of everything, could handle being Lauren's liaison to different companies, could handle content creation with Lauren, and then could also travel with us and do stuff with our personal lives in person in Miami as well. So Caroline's been awesome. We actually went up to our hometown with her when we went to go see the house before we made the offer on it. We were able to say, hey, we want these things, we don't want those things. And so it allowed Lauren and I just to walk around the house and pretty much be like, you know, this is what we want to change. And then Caroline was able to transcribe the entire thing, put it out to them. And what she was saying right when she walked in, I don't think you guys probably heard it, but our new house has a dock on it. And so she's now coordinating with the landscapers and the electricians, and also our dock. It's a little wobbly at the bottom of it because it's an older dock. And so I'm trying to get a quote, because I guess I didn't tell you guys, but we're actually going to tear the entire house down and build my actual dream house on there, because there's a house already on that lot. But our plan is to actually move in first and enjoy the house for 1 to 2 years, make it our own. I already bought a bunch of toys, like a new Vespa, and we're looking at golf carts, and I bought a little boat and stuff up there. And so it's this weird balance right now where we're trying to figure out, how do we spend enough money so that it's a lot of fun for us, it hits our standards, and then we can share this experience with everybody else that we want to, and bring friends and family up there. But we don't want to spend so much money, because, like, for example, if I spend a couple $1,000s to fix this one thing on the dock, I know that I'm going to tear that entire dock down when I build this new home in 2 years, because I want to have a wakeboarding boat and a bunch of stuff there. So it's a balance between both of them. So that's actually to say that if you're watching this right now and you are an entrepreneur, man, getting either a personal assistant or executive assistant, or a combination of both, is probably one of the highest leverage things you can ever do in your entire life. It's like, it allows you, in my opinion, to focus on the things that matter inside business. But I think more importantly than that, it actually allows you to maintain a lifestyle outside of business that is actually enjoyable, right? So I know that if, like, for example, we didn't have Caroline, then we probably wouldn't be doing the things that we need to be doing in order to make this house as amazing as possible. And I also know that our plan is that we're going to move in on the 1st of July. And as soon as we move in, we're going to have everything there. She's going to come up with us, help us unpack everything and set everything up, et cetera, et cetera. And so I know if she wasn't there, then we'd have to wait an extra 1 or 2 or 3 weeks to get to the house with the condition that we want to get it into. So that's kind of a little bit of the hack that I've noticed is that, yes, getting somebody, executive assistant, to do emails, whatever else, is really helpful. But if you can get somebody in your personal life to take care of your personal errands, there's another thing that airline's working on right now, which I can't explain, but you'll see in a couple of weeks, that I wouldn't be able to do either if it wasn't for her, because I'm so focused on building the business stuff. So anyway, thank you, Caroline. Okay, so I want to show you guys something kind of cool here. We started doing this recently, and it's literally changed the way that I really manage my business. So like I said previously, I try to run the entire company from my phone. I try to literally just do whatever I want to do every single day. So one thing that I personally hate doing every single day, but is necessary to run multiple companies, is checking Slack and Asana. And so I've had an executive assistant for 2 years now, and she checks my emails for me. And only when I was like playing around with ChatGPT and I was trying to figure out, hey, what are other ways I can optimize my life to just wake up every day and do whatever the hell I want to do, it brought up this idea of a daily digest. And so we started testing it on May 27th, and it's been literally amazing. So we've done it for almost a month now. And in short, what happens is she now has access to my Slack, my Asana, my emails, literally everything, but I guess my personal cell. And so she reviews everything for me and then just responds back, and essentially is like, imagine like almost my guardian angel, preventing me from getting bogged down by any like annoying things, or not even annoying, but just things that have to get responded to, or people asking me for things. She can handle it without me being involved. And so she posts this every single day. First is top priorities. So this is an example one that I just did. As you can see, this is May 22nd, or May 23rd, sorry. But she'll link these in here. So it'll say review edit for vlog, and then she'll link that. And that could be a message from my creative director saying, hey, here's the final edit for the vlog. Another one could be confirmed dinner reservation at Mandala tomorrow. This could be a link from something that my fiance sent me, or maybe like we're doing a couples dinner with a client or something like that, and so I can confirm that. And then this is the Grant's part of my family office team. This is the house that we're buying, and so this was actually a real one. Needed the wire information to send to Grant's for the house that we're buying, for the down payment for it. So like then I can just click on these, and instead of spending 30 minutes or an hour being dragged into the black hole that is Asana and Slack, I can just review that in 2 seconds. Another thing is cash and activity snapshot. So I had her put in, I have multiple bank accounts. I have like 7 or 8 bank accounts, honestly, for all the companies that we run. And so this is just an example here, but you can see she just shows the bank account balances, and then she'll show plus or minus how much more money or less money that has in the last 24 hours, because she's doing this every single day. That way I can, without having to, because every day for the past 5 years, I've checked all my bank accounts, all my credit cards. And I thought, well, what if I could just do it from my phone, and I can just do it all in one place. So she now puts the balances plus or minus, and then she actually adds into the thread the transactions in the last 24 hours, so I can review those in case there's anything weird or funny going on. Flags or issues. So 3 failed payments inside of our membership site, Scale and School. This is one of our portfolio companies, support to ticket escalated, and Launchpad content still visible in Kajabi linked to Teams. So she's like updating me on some things going on. Here is today's calendar, sales sync, leadership check-in, and then Brightline for a trip to Orlando I did. And then this is her notes here. You have 2 unscheduled hours, 11 to 1, want me to block deep work, and want me to follow up with blank this week or past. So I'm obviously not going to show you the actual ones that I have, because that's a little bit more personal on my day-to-day, but this allows me to essentially stay up to date on everything I need in the business in about 30 seconds. I can answer everybody, and so I'm not bottlenecking anything, and then I can just get right back to doing whatever I want to do. So as you guys have seen, I haven't really moved from this spot at all, so I wanted to walk you through a couple of things I've been working on. So number one is one of the companies that is actually in my holding company is my fiance's company. She is a really incredible double-sided platform right now, where on one end, she is matching a really high value entrepreneurial founder men with really substantial women, incredible women that understand the entrepreneur and founder's lifestyle. And on the other end, she's actually coaching women. How do you kind of, it's called becoming irresistible. So how do you become more of yourself and not lose yourself whenever you are with an entrepreneurial man? And these are both things that we've gone through ourselves, right? In that company right now, because it's essentially like a venture capital company, meaning that I came in and it just had 3 sales inside of it. And so we don't have like a massive team or anything. We're like slowly adding people one by one. And so what a few things that I'm working on inside of it is one, on the female side, on the women's coaching side, which is really awesome. Honestly, I get to see all the testimonials and case studies and things of the women that are like, people love this thing. And the other really cool, I think, great lesson for everyone here is Lauren created content and built a personal brand before she launched this company. So she was just creating content to create content because people were like asking her questions. Like, she would meet people at my events and my masterminds and my company retreats, and people would be like, oh, like, how is it dating Ravi, and like, how do you do this and how you do that? Like, the significant others of the males would go and talk to her, or like my male clients would walk up to her and be like, how do I find a woman like you, blah blah blah. And so she was doing it on this one-on-one basis, and then she kind of got motivated to start creating content. She actually got in a dare with another guy, and they were supposed to post Instagram reels every single day for 30 days, and the loser would have to, if someone backed out, they'd have to pay that other person $1,000. And because of that, her Instagram literally exploded. I mean, we were just talking this morning how she made a post about why an entrepreneur man will spend $500 on a dinner with you, but like not fly first class or something along those lines. I think now it has 1.2 million views on it, which is insane. But like, so that just shows that there's this like huge desire right now in the marketplace for somebody who actually understands on the male side of things, how like the struggles of dating a, quote unquote regular woman when you're trying to build a business. And on the female side of things, the struggles of being with an entrepreneurial man, where, some of you might not know this, but the first time I met Lauren, and whenever we first started going on dates, I told her within the first 3 times that we met, I'm building my business and this comes first before you. My business is before you. I was very clear with that. And so a lot of women would say, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's great. And then they would like, later on either sabotage or be upset or be angry that I was working late instead of spending time with them, blah, blah, blah. Lauren was one of the first women that actually, I think, understood that relationship, which is why we're now engaged today, right? Because I think we worked through that together. And then on the back of it, she started kind of like organically creating this offer, one being this very, very high ticket placement matchmaking, which now I think we're at 12 or 13 clients for, and the other being this lower mid-ticket women's coaching program. And the cool thing about this company, I would say, compared to some of the other companies I've worked with, is like, number one, obviously I get to work with my fiance. Number two is that, she truly is not money motivated. We're fortunate enough to live in a lifestyle where she doesn't really have to worry about money that much. And so it is really coming from a place of altruism. Like, she really just wants to help other people. And a great example, and I'd say the third kind of cool thing is she's optimizing for fun and for peace, which is really where I'm at in my life as well. So a really good example is yesterday we had a client who was ready to pay us quite a bit of money to work with us, but there was all these red flags. He was saying these things and saying these emails, and like, it was just a lot of stuff that we realized that if we took them on, we would not probably be happy in 3 or 4 months because of the way that they were talking to us over email and talking to the salesperson. And so I asked Lauren, and she was just like, I don't want to work with him, right? And it's funny because if this was me when I first started my business a couple of years ago, there wasn't even an option. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to work with him because he's going to be mean. It was like, I need to pay my rent, so we need to take on this client. And so it's kind of cool, I think, to build this business from a place of abundance, really, and only work with really, really amazing people. Which brings me up to what I've been doing today, right? The two things I was doing is, one, on the female side, the way that we enroll new people is through an auto webinar. So we have a webinar that goes out that is connected to our Instagram, and people will comment and mini chat. They go down below, and then they opt in to watch the webinar. We did a live webinar that converted relatively well. It converted at 2.6% for the live attendees, which is honestly pretty low for a live webinar. A good webinar would be like 5 to 9%, but it was Lauren's first live webinar ever. I was like trying to update the slides at the last second while she was on there. The slides didn't load. We had technical issues. Like, if you've ever done it a live webinar before, you know that anything that can go wrong definitely will go wrong in the first one. So I would give it, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it was like a 3 or a 4 as far as like production quality, having everything together. And we converted it at 2.6%. Then I was like, okay, this is a good sign. We got these women in here. Let's now turn this into an evergreen webinar, and let's try to make it so that people can join whenever, and that way we don't have to do live webinars all the time. So we reshot it, scripted the entire thing out, updated it based on the feedback of the people that came in, and then relaunched it as an ever webinar. And honestly, it's been going decently well. It's converting at about 2% right now, which once again, a really good ever webinar will convert closer to 4 or 5%, but this is 1 weekend to launching the ever webinar. So a few things that I've been working on is, number one, or a few things I'm going to test, right? And these are all things that I do with my clients as well, right? So number one, right now, the webinar is about an hour long, an hour and 8 minutes long, and we get to the pitch at 48 minutes in. I'm going to test increasing the speed by about 1.15x, which is enough to make it move a little bit faster, but not so much that the person notices. And I'm going to have my editor adjust the pitch so you won't be able to tell the difference. And what that will allow us to do is shift back the call to action or the pitch portion of it it. And so thus we'll have more people see the pitch and more people be able to go to the checkout page and hopefully have a higher conversion rate. So that's one thing that I have in the pipeline I've been working on today. The second thing that we're going to do is we just set up financing, and we're about to set up a financing option with a third-party platform so that people can pay like $30 a month and join, and we get paid instantly. I've done that for almost all my holding companies. It's a really solid move because it's the best of both worlds. You don't have to deal with tracking down payments. You don't have to deal with like small upfront payments. You get paid instantly, and the client or prospect, they get everything that they want from day one. And they're obviously willing to take on the financing for that. And then the third and final thing I think that'll help increase the conversion rate is I'm going to add what's known as a deadline funnel. And a deadline funnel is essentially the main thing you need when it comes to sales, high ticket sales, low ticket sales, whatever else it is you need the ability to have urgency and scarcity. Our plan is to make it a 3-day deadline funnel. That means that when they opt in, they have 3 days to enroll into the coaching program for women. If they come back after the 3 days, they can still enroll, but they're going to pay about 50% more than the women who take action immediately. So it allows us to reward the people who take action immediately. It allows us to get the fence sitters off of the fence in the first 72 hours so that they can join and get that price discount. And I'm sure we're still going to have people that are going to go through it. They're going to join 5 or 7 days later and end up just paying the full price, which could be 50% more because they want it that badly. And so we'll just make more profit on those people as well. Extra little cash flow for us and obviously making a big impact on some other people.
It's that there's endless resources.
Sure.
So it's like I could come pay Ravi, I could hire a client success manager, then all of a sudden I see something else and there's there. It's like I feel like I have to draw the, and again, this isn't nothing that you could tell me is,
yeah.
I have to.
Well, I think it is something I can't tell you. So I'm actually writing a book on it right now, but the theory that I developed the past couple of years is called the critical constraint method. And essentially critical constraint method. So essentially, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the theory of constraints, right? So at any one point, there's probably a couple of things that's preventing your business from growing, right? And so actually I have a great illustration of it. And so what I've learned, because you're right, as a CEO, your main job is the proper allocation of resources, which includes obviously money and your team's time, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the critical constraint. So at any point in your business, you have an issue right now on your marketing. You're trying to figure out what's going on with the ads and how do you get the funnel, blah, blah, blah. I know you guys have talked about data a couple of times. Let's say data is a constraint over here. Then you've also talked about like the sales team and having or the back end offer, whatever else it is, right? And so there's all these constraints. The main issues I found is that most entrepreneurs do two things. Number one, they solve constraints in the wrong order. AKA, you guys are really great at marketing and sales. And so even though it is a constraint, but not the biggest constraint, you spend the majority of your time on marketing or sales. Or the other thing is that there's all these constraints that are happening. And so because you do have a lot of resources, you deploy all of your resources to solve all of these constraints all at the exact same time. But in reality, solving, let's say, this constraint here doesn't have that big of an impact on the business because you're still being constrained by this constraint here, which is essentially the critical constraint. Now, what happens is, this is obviously a simplification. As you scale and you build a team, blah, 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 you can start to attack critical constraints a little bit more simultaneously. So you could have him working on the marketing critical constraint and you working on the product critical constraint. So what you need to ask yourself is, first of all, that's what the whole point of like the VIP day is, what is the main critical constraint in your business? And we've been kind of knocking it down one-on-one, identifying the offers, like, okay, we need to get clarity on that to know what we're selling, identifying the market position. Okay, we have clarity on that. So now we're over on fulfillment. So you need to ask yourself, like, if I hired a client success manager, would I immediately be able to scale? If the answer is no, because you guys aren't getting enough clients coming in right now, well then no, don't hire the client success manager and just keep doing what you're doing right now and hodgepodging it together. But if you feel confident that he's going to go to $4,000 an ad spend a day in the next 14 days, and you and I both know it takes probably 14 or 30 days to get a decent person onboarded, trained to the point that they're taking clients, well then your true critical constraint at that point is you might actually need to hire a client success manager, because let's say he goes to $4,000 a day and you're all of a sudden onboarding 20 to 30 clients a month. Is that something that you could currently do? And if the answer is no, then your critical constraint at that point is actually not marketing, because once again, we're assuming we're at a 4x ROAS. The critical constraint is actually the fulfillment, which the critical constraint inside of the fulfillment would be hiring the client success manager. Does that add clarity? You can let me know if it doesn't add clarity, because I'm actually writing a book on this, so it's good feedback.
Sharing all this is literally like my wife is smart. And my wife's not even in business. She tells me shit all the time.
And that's the thing is, like, you're focusing on, you're saying you have like all these other opportunities here. And I think that the truth is that when you're able to identify the critical constraint and then put horse blinders on to solve that thing, that's when you have that kind of quadratic growth. What I see happen all the time is, because you have all these resources, it's like, okay, you need to know, you need to solve that, but because you're a hero, you're an entrepreneur, you're successful, you're also going to solve this, you're also going to solve this, you're also going to solve this, and then they all get 20% progress towards being solved, versus just focusing all your time, energy, and effort on that, having that, get that knocked down, and now you're moving on to the next thing. Just finished the VIP day, or at least the like talking portion of the VIP VIP day, the coaching portion. These are probably like my favorite things that I do with other business owners, because it's literally just me, them, 4 hours locked in a room, and we make unbelievable progress. And these guys were cool. I both exited their companies, multiple millions of dollars, were launched like a coaching consulting offer. And right now, I'm going to run over to get some physical therapy. I dislocated my shoulder 2 years ago at a company retreat and tore my labrum, which is the part underneath your shoulder, from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And so now I'm doing physical therapy 3 times a week, every week for 4 weeks, because I want to get good enough that I can go back to playing paddle and doing all the stuff that I really love to do. So I'm going to go run to do that right now. Then I am going to head to dinner with them afterwards. We're going to hang out at one of our favorite restaurants in Miami. So I'll take you guys along for the ride. I don't really get to show off my toys too much, but this is my Porsche 911 GTS. So we have 3 little toys inside of here. And then on the right-hand side here, this is my Triumph Speed Twin 1200. Actually might be a Speed Triple, I forget, but also one of my favorite bikes. Pretty much took it apart and built it, customized it from the ground up. This is a little dolly thing. This is actually kind of cool. It actually allows me, because my fiance has her little Vespa behind it, so I can move the bike super simply with one hand here. And then that is her Vespa in the back. That's a Vespa 300, which goes up to 88 miles per hour. I absolutely fell in love with it, and you didn't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about parking in Miami. So then I decided, well, let me get a more epic version of the Vespa, and that was actually why I bought the motorcycle. So for our new home that we just bought, we are getting a 110 Defender, like 1977, 78. Then we're getting another Vespa. I'm probably gonna get a motorcycle, another Triumph, which I absolutely love. And then we're looking at getting a golf cart too, so we can putt around with it. And like I said, I got another boat up there as well. So I'm super excited for all those toys up there. Okay, so while I was doing my VIP day, my team posted a YouTube video on my new YouTube channel, Scale with Ravi. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend you go do it. The problem is though, is I was looking at the stats, I was like, why is this not working so well as the last video I put on there? Because the last video had an 11% click-through rate. This one had a 6% click-through rate. And what I saw was that because it was part 2 of 2 videos, the problem is that the title says the 30 million info business playbook I wish that I had starting from 0, part 1, and then the 30 million info business playbook I had wish I had starting from 0, part 2. The thumbnails are really similar. I think what's happening is people are seeing that video in their newsfeed and they're thinking it's the exact same video they already either watched or that they decided not to watch before. And so they're not clicking on this one again. So I like rapidly on my way over to my PT appointment, just changed the title. So we'll see how it does. All right, so just finished my PT session. Shout out to ASR in Miami Beach. They're an awesome PT clinic. Dr. Annika and Dr. Matt, shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. Another great thing about Miami is literally I'm about to walk a couple hundred feet and be at Lauren and I's favorite restaurant in Miami. Just love Miami. Look how beautiful that is. It's called Uchiko. It's Lauren and I's favorite restaurant in Miami. Truthfully, probably second favorite. Our first favorite restaurant in Miami is Uchi, which is the original restaurant in Miami. But that was on the other side of the bridge when we used to live over on the dark side of Miami, which is, you know, main central Miami. And then 8 months ago, we moved to Miami Beach, and it is, I'll never go back again. We absolutely love it here. So fun fact, we've literally been to that Uchi restaurant over in Miami over I think 170 times. So we're like super VIP. It says it on their slip whenever we go there. So then they open up this one, and oh my god, if you're looking for great sushi in Miami, it is definitely the spot to go to. And the Miami Beach location is super beautiful. So part of my VIP day is actually we go and have dinner you know, with their significant others and mine. And so I'm gonna possibly film inside of there, but honestly I try not to ever film when I am at dinner. I just don't like it, so I probably won't. So I'll see you guys whenever we get back. There are a few things in this life that I like more, or I appreciate more, than a really quality dinner with really quality people. Actually, I think you guys saw this more in me reading my life manifesto. There's 2 lines on there. One of them is, I never spend time with people that I don't respect, appreciate, or enjoy. And the second one is that we go to dinner multiple times a week with incredible people. And I don't know. I you know, we don't really party or drink or anything like that. So for me, dinners are kind of like partying. And I had a really fantastic dinner with the people that I was, that had my VIP day with. I know I didn't take you guys inside of there. I'm sorry. Like I said, I try to be as present as possible at dinners, and I just don't like it. So now I am going to head into, honestly, I'm going to just be real with you right now. I might get some ice cream, you know what I mean? Even though that's not healthy, it's not on my diet, it's not even on my life manifesto. But look, guys, I am human, okay? And I might surprise my fiance with it. And who knows, maybe we'll take the boat out for a little sunset cruise. So I'll keep you guys updated. What did you just say?
What?
What did you just say a second ago?
What?
I said that I might have a surprise for you, and what did you say?
You did not say you might have a surprise for me.
What did you just tell me a second ago?
I said I wanted to surprise you.
Surprise me with what?
Well, I don't know. What do you want to surprise me with?
What? Just say it already. I'm on a video recording this.
Scream.
Baby, we don't eat ice cream. That's unhealthy. What do we call ice cream?
Vitamins?
Vitamins. We call ice cream vitamins. The funny thing is that I literally just got done and I was saying into the camera that I was going to surprise you by getting you some ice cream. But now everybody knows that we're the fattest people in the world. All right, guys, I told you that I would try to take you on one boat ride. So, I mean, just look how beautiful she is. What I'm going to do is, you know, take you along for the ride here. And I'm going to kind of set up and show you guys because a lot of people actually ask me, what is it like captaining your own 40-foot boat? So it's pretty cool and relatively easy. So first thing we do is we go down to the cabin. I'll show you guys the cabin real quick. This is the cabin. There's actually another little cabin down there and then a pretty nice little bathroom here. And it's called the wet head because there's also a shower. So you can literally take a shower here if we want to take this thing to the Bahamas, which the plan is to eventually do that. So I'm going to turn the engines on, or the batteries to the engines on. Turn on the freshwater pump, electric pump. I should probably be showing you guys this. The thrusters. We probably won't turn on the air conditioning because I don't want to waste the diesel because we're just going to be Lauren and I. I'm going to turn on the diesel. This is actually for the gyro, so we're not going to use it for the air conditioning, but we will use it to keep the boat steady. And then I'm going to take off the covers here. So let me put this down for 1 second. So for all the toys I've had, right? So for the plane and for the boat, one thing I'm super fortunate. So Lauren is an incredible female woman. Which I love about her, but one thing I will say is she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. So for the plane that I used to have and for this boat, I can literally count on her to be my co-captain here. So she'll come out here and she is not afraid to you know, take the covers off or you know, help me hose it down at the end. Or obviously she's like such a great guest whenever we have guests on board as well. And in the plane it was 100 times more work. I mean, when we had the plane, you had to there was something called a run-up that you do before you take off. That you had to get in the plane, and this is you're getting into my hangar in the middle of Miami in July and get in this plane that didn't have air conditioning until you cranked everything up. We were dripping sweat. And then my plane, I took really great care of it. And so we would literally, after we landed from whatever trip, could be a 4-hour trip, she would stay with me and wash the plane with me afterwards so that we could always keep it in good condition. I always, for all my toys, I always try to maintain it really well. Like I said earlier, I now have a CEO of this boat, so I don't necessarily have to do that. But for the plane, it definitely makes it easier. And we have a special guest on today's boat ride, the queen of the seas, the one and only Linda. Oh, he's such a good girl. This is my favorite part. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this, but listen to those things purr. Because of this boat's size, the height of it, I'm actually near a bridge in Miami that we have to time the openings of the bridge, which is every 30 minutes, to be able to go through it. Otherwise, I have to wait for the tide to be a little bit different, and then when the tide's a little bit different, I can actually go through a different route. But the problem is right now we're at a high tide in Miami, which fluctuates by like up to 2 feet every single day or something around that. And let me show you guys my little Titanic Linda. Tell me that's not one happy dog. So I will say though, getting these bridges, we have done some quick moves to get on the water. Like, because Lauren, our friends actually kind of make fun of us because we will literally decide to go on the boat 30 minutes before we leave on the boat. And our friends are like, we want to come, but you got to give us more notice. And we're like, guys, we didn't know until literally 30 minutes before. It's pretty much the same thing every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, it's only the occasional weekday. Indian Creek Bridge. This is out of office, requesting access for the 730 bridge headed northbound.
Stand by for bridge opening, Captain.
Standing by. Shout out to all the nice, kind people that work the Indian Creek Bridge. All right, guys, so that's going to be a wrap. Thank you guys for hanging around for this vlog. I guess this is a second ending to this vlog. Guess we, maybe we'll cut out the first ending, but I'm happy that we were able to take this one, take the boat out tonight. Super grateful. This is my unbelievably amazing and sweet and kind and gentle and understanding fiance. This is our view on our Saturday night. This is our Saturday night date. Not bad at all. And somewhere around here is our dog. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.